Here's something that occurred to me the other day. Do you know off the top of your head, or do you have a guess at how many times the words Home Alone are said in the movie?
Like as that coupling?
Yeah.
My gut says 4 or 5.
That's probably about right.
Because you've got Harry saying one.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Kate saying it maybe twice. You've got Kevin saying it.
Lenny says it at the payphone.
Oh.
Am I wrong there? Isn't it Lenny who says, please, our brother's home alone?
I don't remember that one.
Okay.
But
well, let's start over. Minute 1. We hear some John Williams music.
For some reason, I thought you had the number of times this was said.
Nope. Not unready. I'm a no-note kind of guy. Just occurred to me.
Do you know that number exists somewhere?
Like it's a quick search?
I guess what I'm asking is, do you know if it is documented somewhere in that?
I don't.
You could download the subtitles and do a Control F.
I could watch it.
I feel like it's one of those things that would have been a checkbox for us to keep track of if we had gone into this with a lot more forethought.
Yeah. Something to think about. I think we have a titular line coming up in just a couple minutes, so maybe I will do that research and be ready for it.
Okay. For the sake of this minute, though, we have no titular line, but we do have a bit of dialogue. And when I say this minute, I mean the one we're working on right now, like in this very moment. And that is minute 54.
That's right. Did I miss an allusion? Was that a reference to something? You're usually so cute with how we get into the minute, and I didn't catch it. And I feel like you had something that flew over my head.
There's not much in this minute, so it's only fair that there's not much to get to this minute.
I like this minute.
And when I say there's not much, I don't mean substance. I mean on paper.
Okay, that's true.
I think there's a lot happening in this minute.
But it's all brisk.
Right. So what is this minute in a nutshell?
Jerod, minute 54 of Home Alone has us on the tail end of Kevin's grocery buying experience with Sally, world's nosiest checkout lady. He walks home, the groceries spill out of his bag, and then he starts some laundry. That's our
Excellent
minute.
Recap.
Thank you.
Excellent recap.
Thank you. I stayed up all night working on it.
I believe you.
My minute recap deck. Did you see my slides? I've been rehearsing.
I saw this one, which I'm pulling it up now. V3_final.
Ooh, that's an old one. You should be seeing V3_final_final.
Okay.
Let me Dropbox it to you.
Okay.
Do you see it?
No.
Do you see it now? Hit refresh.
I'm in Drive.
I clearly said Dropbox.
I'd like to remind our listeners of the previous minute as it relates to this minute.
Okay.
Kevin purchased, among other groceries, some army men.
For the kids.
Yes. Because that line, I think, is important in this minute. But I'm going to wait.
Okay.
I'm going to wait on that. It's just know that context is necessary.
Okay. Now we're waiting on that because we are talking about what else?
The sequencing of coupon scanning.
I just appreciate, again, Kevin's adultness. Oh, way to have a coupon for that. And then the offhanded, casual, it was in the paper this morning.
He is a grown-up.
Absolutely. He's the biggest grown-up.
That is the shopping equivalent of a cream rinse.
It is. I agree.
But I did want to ask about this, and I'll admit I don't have the answer. This isn't a leading question.
Much like my how many times does someone say Home Alone? And I didn't know the answer.
So he says, hold on, I got a coupon for that.
Yes.
Is he doing that because coupons are entered manually and she needs to verify that what he's buying does in fact have an applicable coupon? Because certainly now you can just scan a whole bunch of coupons at the end of your interaction, and the system will say, yep, that applies, that's expired, that's not expired, but you have the vanilla variant and this only applies to the chocolate, that sort of thing.
Forgive me, I didn't know quite where you were going with it, but how he has to interrupt her, is Kevin under a wrong impression, or is this the way that grocery coupons worked back then, where you had to scan it at the same time as the item itself?
My gut says it's the latter, but I'm just making sure that it's not the former.
I don't know. It seems like a natural occurrence where seeing the checkout person scan the item reminds you that you have the coupon.
Right.
So maybe the hold on is unnecessary, but maybe an involuntary exclamation of, oh, that's right, I have a coupon. Or maybe this is late 80s, early 90s grocery store technology. How many people waited until after everything was rang up and they said, oh, wait, coupons? And Sally's rolling her eyes and has to void everything off and scan them one by one and match them up to the coupons.
Well, I think that's what I'm digging for a little bit, is this particular coupon is to save, I believe, $1 on Tropicana.
Okay.
Now, if he had waited until the end and his groceries were bagged, would she have to go, oh, I need to go look in the bag to make sure this applies, because she has to look at it? Whereas in this interaction, it's right in front of her so she can verify it. I believe fairly strongly that this system is not set up to take barcoded coupons and apply them.
She types. She does some
she's
typing. She's
clearly doing this manually.
To the coupon, yeah. I don't know. Can I grumble about my real life for a moment?
Oh, I thought that's why we were doing this.
Oh, okay. I was at I don't want to market a store that made me angry. Let's just say...
Yeah, what segment were they in? Retail?
Yeah, I was at a retail store buying diapers, pull-ups for the young lady. And they had some sort of sale where you get a gift card if you buy this many dollars worth of Pampers products. We're a Pampers family. I will market Pampers. They make a quality product. I read the whole sign, and it looked like if I spent at least this much money, I got a $10 gift card. So I went for the second from the largest option because it was above the spend this much money threshold. So it turned into a cheaper per unit diaper situation if I use the gift card eventually. I go up there to scan it. No gift card. I'm at self-checkout, so I asked the helper friend in a red vest, if that gives things away. I'm like, hey, where's my gift card? And he's scanning it, and he's like, I guess that's not eligible for this. And he's scanning, looking for the deal. And he goes, yeah, it's only good for these. And he shows me the same box of diapers that I'm buying. I'm like, yeah, that's what I got. He's like, yeah, I don't know. See, what I do is I just check the app before I scan things. I'm like, check the app. There's a sign on the shelf. I didn't say all this. It's not his job to babysit me. But I was angry about it, And I had to put those down and go get the other size diapers because those were eligible for the gift card.
So I'm debating whether to say this or not, but I'm just going to go and face the cancellation head on. At that particular retail establishment, I get incredibly ageist. So I know the deal you're talking about, and it is one that every, let's say, middle-aged checkout person knows and understands and anticipates. And teenagers do not.
They don't know our struggle.
So when I take it to those particular checkout lines, they have no problem. They're already anticipating it. They pull it out of their drawer before they even have to scan it, the gift card. And in a couple of occasions, they have overridden the fact that it did not prompt for the gift card, knowing that it applied.
That's what I'm talking about.
As much as I hate to discriminate based on age, it has produced very meaningful results for me when I've taken advantage of that particular promotion. Because what happened, or let's not say what happened, but what certainly could have happened is that when they were saying this applies to all Pampers, they left off one of those particular barcodes. And by the spirit of the promotion, what you were buying was eligible. There's another possibility in that certain sizes will sometimes get restocked and will have a different barcode than what they had previously. In some number of months' time, I think SodaScore users will recognize that a can of Coke, even one that you get in the same 12-pack, will have a different barcode. For various different reasons, because there's some technical difference in it being a technically new SKU, but it still applies the same way. So there's so many reasons why what you were getting should in fact be eligible, but the technology says it's not.
I'm glad you understand my pain.
It's having been through that pain a couple of times and having to escalate and marking the, for future reference, do not start here anymore.
As soon as someone comes up to help, he's like, do you remember when Bill Clinton was president? Get out of here. You're not getting me my gift card.
Where were you on 9/11?
Yeah, that's a good litmus test. If they say -2, I'm going to need to speak to an older person in a red vest.
Yeah, if they say here, I'm checking out with them.
Speaking of running a cash register, the background actor behind Kevin is doing some really good cash register work here.
With just the hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It seems very competent. I got to think that they're using a real cashier because that person knows what she's doing. She really knows her way around a cash register, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. Now, when you first said background, I thought you may have meant the person who was cut from this scene.
Oh, yes. That dude. Thank you for bringing him up.
We do see a gentleman behind Sally, right?
He, interestingly, if you look up the old original trailer for Home Alone, he's in the Sally position. And at some
Does he have any lines?
It seems like he's the one asking him the same questions that Sally's asking him. But Sally's also there.
Was this uncovered? I feel like we've talked about this before, but was it uncovered in commentary or anything like that?
Let's see. We had an email from Steven walking us through it.
God bless Steven.
Good dude.
Now, coming back to that first trailer, there is a baffling addition that makes no sense. This guy. Why is he only in the trailer?
Are you here all alone?
I'm 8 years old. You think I'd be here alone? I don't think so.
He's delivering dialogue that is delivered by the cashier in the final cut.
Where's your mother?
My mom's in the car.
Where's your father?
He's at work.
What about your brothers and sisters?
I'm an only child.
Where do you live?
Can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because you're a stranger.
Right. That's a YouTube video called The Lost Version of Home Alone by Hats Off Entertainment. Written, presented, and compiled by Joe Ramone. Joe, we thank you.
So I read something from an interview with her where she was talking about how she's still stoked about that because she didn't actually think that she would make it because she did the original improv with Macaulay. And then those improv lines got handed out to other actors. But then when she saw the film, it was her scene.
That's got to feel like a huge win.
I'd say so.
An earned win for Sally.
Which is a way better win.
I love that for her. It's like those moments that you hear about where they're just using someone as like a placeholder for like a voice in a movie or a role. And then they just go, well, let's just give it to that person. The little kid from Coco, I think that was his. He was like a fill-in until they found some, more famous, better actor, but they never did. So they just gave him the role. Ben Schwartz, Sonic the Hedgehog, was originally just doing test footage as a favor.
So like the opposite of David Prowse.
Oh, what was his deal as the voice of Darth Vader? Or he's the body. Oh, he was going to be the voice, and then they replaced him.
Yeah, he thought, well, I'm Darth Vader, so
ooh, and then he was, but he wasn't.
Right.
I hope he's made peace with that.
I mean, he hasn't. Like, he tends to dine out on the fact that he's the quote real Darth Vader, but he's also a guy who signed up for subsequent movies after this revelation. So
yeah.
He was mad, but not mad enough to quit on principle.
At some point over the years, you got to come to accept what an honor it is to be James Earl Jones's body.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's not nothing.
A little bit of trivia for you and the listeners.
Okay.
If you want to give them a moment.
All right. Everyone brace yourselves. Sit down. Pull the car over.
What was Kevin's total at the grocery checkout?
1983.
Not much of a pause to give the listeners a minute to think there.
I'll cut one in.
It was 1983, which is only 6 years before this was filmed.
Yeah, that's in the script too. Like that total is in the screenplay.
Now, I mentioned at the top that I would make reference to the "for the kids" line from the previous minute.
Oh, yes. We've all been waiting.
This is something that has been on my mind since the first time I watched it and stays in subsequent viewings. He says "for the kids" when he's talking about the army men, but then when asked by Sally about brothers and sisters, he says that he is an only child.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it?
Your story's full of holes, Kevin. We're calling the police. You're operating under assumption that the kids are brothers and sisters.
Well, there's no ambiguity about his age. He says that he's an 8-year-old, which means that he is not of age to biologically have children of his own.
I didn't ever think that Sally would make that assumption. So the natural assumption is that it's little brothers or sisters or both. I get it. There's the flaw. Take him to jail. You're going to sit here and lie to Sally? Not on my watch. For the kids. Yet, he's an only child. The whole thing falls apart right there. You're right.
Much like his shopping bags.
You know, I will say that the thing that I've wondered for years is how they pulled that shot off.
You don't think it's like fishing wire?
According to the DVD commentary, it's Kevin himself holding onto some strings or something, and he is controlling when those bags break. He's holding on. He has like little strings that he's holding onto that somehow like rip the bag when he lets them go. So he does that.
Well, it looks great.
It looks amazing. It's so good. Have you ever had a grocery bag fail on you this way?
Yes.
I don't think I ever have. Maybe. I don't think so, though. Is Sally a bad grocery bagger?
He's also doing a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially even some running or jogging.
Yeah. I can see the bags not holding up to that walk. That makes some sense.
Because Sally's very trusting. She says, oh, he's taking these out to the car because he just said.
She's in the car. I don't need to triple bag this Tide. He's only going out to the parking lot.
It's going to go from the cart to a trunk.
See what your web of lies hast wrought, Kevin McAllister. This is his own fault.
Karma.
He deserves it. You got Icarus, Oedipus, and Kevin.
Oedipus.
Kevin Oedipus. We just read Oedipus in my 10th grade class. And it's fun when they hear about him making babies with his mom and stuff. And they go, ew. And then he stabs his eyes out and they go, ew. It's good stuff. We still read it for a reason, I guess, is my point.
Beyond the ooh?
I think ooh is part of it. The ooh is fun. It's part of the ride.
Has there been anything in Home Alone in the first 54 minutes that has made you go, ooh? Sorry. Ew.
That melting ice cream on the counter when he's had like his, stuffing himself all-nighter of junk food.
Yeah.
I can't abide ice cream going to waste like that and just dripping off the counter. That's gross to me. Anything gross you out?
When the clerk was not helpful regarding his ADA question.
I don't know.
Bad service just skeeves me out.
Yeah, I think that's the thesis of this minute, I think, is that whether at unnamed monochromatic retail stores or in the Home Alone universe, we just want good customer service. We want to be treated with a little dignity. We don't need this third degree. Back off, Sally. Who do you think you are? All these questions.
Who does she think she is? Tracy J. Connor.
Thank you for putting a name to her. And Tracy, thank you for your contribution to our favorite movie, TJC.
I know you mentioned that the end of this minute starts venturing into Kevin doing a bit of laundry.
We're back in that basement, yeah.
Do you recall if it was clockwise or counterclockwise?
He goes clockwise.
That's how you know this wasn't filmed in Australia.